Well, thanks a lot for staying with us here on Sunrise Live on E as we continue with the conversations this morning. Now, this morning in our health slot, we take a look at the prevalence of tuberculosis as March is TB Awareness Month. Now, South Africa is one of the countries with the highest burden of TB, with the World Health Organization having recorded statistics about 450,000 cases active of TB. That was just in 2013. So that means that about 1% or so of the population of about 50 million develop active TB disease every single year. So this means that TB causes thousands of deaths each year in the country alone. So to talk more about this, we're joined in studio now by Dumisani Adoons from the South African National Tuberculosis Association. You at home can always be part of our conversation. Remember, if you have any question related to TB as well, give us a call on 011 447 1742 or 1620, and we'll be seeing if we can get you some help this morning. Thank you so much, Dumisani, for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me.
Now, a lot of times it's the statistics themselves speak for much in terms of the recorded numbers of TB infections in the country. Yes. Why do we have such a high prevalence? Small country, 55 million people, a whole lot of prevalence. What's going on?
I could say that with the high prevalence of HIV, a lot of TB programs were swallowed or incorporated into HIV programs. We were no longer dealing with TB as a standalone program.
So it's almost like HIV it was treated as an HIV-related illness,
yes,
instead of it being treated as tuberculosis on its own.
Got so you. That's where we got the problem, and that's why we are at this stage. The one of the highest ranking countries in the world.
Yeah.
But then the Minister of Health last year, I think, he has initiated a coalition for about 3 organizations which we are part of, SANTA and South African Red Cross and National Council of Churches. It is yet to be launched. So he has resorted to dealing with TB as a standalone program, not to be incorporated into any other programs.
Dumisani, do you think that is because the stigma around tuberculosis still exists? And I'm going to rely on your expertise here, because
yes,
countless times we hear of TB patients running away from these facilities themselves. So in other words, if they need to be quarantined for a certain number of periods, they actually run away from the hospital. Other reports will be saying that people never finish their medication. So that whole, is it the 6 months program?
It is.
That
yes.
6 months program is never completed to its full. Others will not even tell their family members that they've got TB, and then you find somebody in a taxi coughing, and obviously that's just susceptible. Everybody becomes contagious. So
yes,
where are we getting the messaging wrong? The stigma?
I think there is a stigma attached to it.
Yeah.
But the stigma is not necessarily attached to TB alone, because somehow it is perceived that people who have got TB are co-infected with HIV. So
our people are receiving the messaging wrong.
I think they are getting the message wrong.
Yeah.
So because people don't know whether there's an underlying factor when you are infected with TB, which would be HIV in most cases. So people would stigmatize themselves, before they are stigmatized by other people. They wouldn't want to go to the public clinics. They wouldn't want to come clean to their family members and disclose.
But why are they not finishing their medication? So that part, once you've received access to medication, why is that treatment process, if I want to get well,
yes,
why do people avoid finishing that medicine?
Okay. Previously, as Santa, we have the DOT supporters. We have a program called Directly Observed Treatment Support, whereby we have caregivers in different locations, because we are represented in all the provinces except for KwaZulu-Natal. They are going to communities, those caregivers. They would observe the intake of treatment every morning. They would make sure that the medication is swallowed correctly. So sometimes people would be in a rush to go to work, or maybe they would avoid taking the treatment because it's not treating them well.
Okay, so
there are side effects.
Side effects
Exactly. So there are many factors that affect, the treatment process to be completed. But still, stigma, it is one of those.
We're going to talk a little bit also about just in terms of the symptoms as well, but I want us to take calls coming in right now. We believe that we've got a caller on the line. Hello, good morning to you. Okay, we seem to have lost that caller there.
Okay.
When we're looking at the symptoms, and this is a big one when it comes to symptoms of tuberculosis, when do I display symptoms? What are the symptoms to be considered, etc.? And when do I know that it's time for me to get some help?
Yeah, you know, persistent cough for more than 2 weeks, loss of weight, night sweat, you know, severe fatigue. You should go to the next nearby clinic to get tested for TB or screened per se, because what we normally do, people get screened. If they show any signs, then they are put on treatment.
Okay.
And you know, it is very sad for people to die of TB, whereas TB is a curable disease. And if people take their treatment consistently for that period of 6 months, people would be cured. There is 100% guarantee.
100% guarantee. We're going to leave our conversation there this morning, but I like that. 100% guarantee that you're going to be cured. Let's get rid of the stigma and actually get ourselves some help.